A friend, 31 female, Cece, asked if I, 31 female, would be a bridesmaid at her wedding. I was honoured. We'd lost touch over time, but she'd been a close friend of mine through school. She sent me a link to a few of the bridesmaid dresses. She asked the 4 bridesmaids to wear the same colour but left the design up to us. I picked one similar to the one she sent. 2 months ago, she had an engagement party and asked the bridesmaids to bring their dresses for a try-on. She immediately didn't like my dress. I felt terrible because I thought it was just a slightly different design from the one she suggested. I told her that I would return it and get another one. She agreed to link me one. A few weeks ago, she had another get-together before the wedding and asked if I could bring the dress so she could see it. When I tried the dress on, she again seemed unhappy. I didn't know what to do. She'd picked it out. I asked her if she wanted to see it with some shoes or jewellery or even a simple shawl. She said she didn't know and that the issue wasn't the dress but how I wore it. A few hours later, Cece had had a few drinks and pulled me aside. She was vulnerable and said she felt insecure and didn't like how she looked in her wedding gown. She said that I looked good in both dresses, but she was struggling because when we were in school, she had always been the pretty friend. But she also said she knew it was a mean way to feel, but she couldn't help it. To be clear, I'm perfectly average at best. I told her she was beautiful and she could pick out any dress for me, even a turtleneck if she wanted, and I would happily wear it. She appreciated that and said she would send something. We hugged and I left feeling pretty good about it all. The next day she sent me a link to a chest binder. I knew what they were but had never worn one. She asked if I would wear it and that it would make her feel less insecure. I've worn my fair share of shapewear, so I figured it would be fine. I was wrong. After squeezing myself into it, I was in tears. My boobs hurt. I'm 3 months pregnant and it hurt all the time anyway, but this was unbearable. I sent her a message telling her I couldn't wear the binder, but was willing to get any last dress for the wedding. No response. A few days passed and I texted her telling her that she needed to either approve one of the other dresses, sans binder, or I just wouldn't attend the wedding. That was 2 weeks ago and she still hasn't responded to me. My husband is encouraging me just not to go at all. I think he's right, but I'm a bridesmaid. I feel like I could be ruining her wedding if I didn't show up. But if I show up in a dress she doesn't like, that could also ruin the day for her. A wedding is next Saturday. Would I be the idiot if I go in the second dress, or is it more of an idiot to skip it altogether? You're pregnant and she wants you to wear a chest binder? This is how I know she's never worn one, let alone for hours at a time. They are uncomfortable and could do a lot of damage to you if overworn, if they're too small, etc. They are not regular shapewear and need to be worn carefully. In any case, your response to her was correct. I agree with your husband. Now that she's seen fit to ghost you for not physically hurting yourself for her wedding day, I think you're officially off the bridesmaid hook. To be very blunt, if she wanted you there, she would have responded. Oh my god, yes, I audibly said no out loud when I read OP was pregnant. Oof, that had to hurt so much. No wedding is worth being in pain for, or to keep a poor friend. OP, do you have contact information for the maid of honour? I would contact the maid of honour and make her aware of what's going on. Just the facts. You're not the idiot, and I can't imagine having the audacity to tell someone what to do with their breasts. Did you have some sort of blow-up after school? It sounds like Cece is trying to pick bridesmaids she views as less attractive than her, and was thrown by you being more attractive than she expected. Her securities aren't your problem. She needs some therapy to deal with it. Update. Thank you everyone for your kind words and advice. Before posting this, I was really considering just slinking off into the night. But you're all right. If she won't respond, the least I should do for myself is make sure my side of the story is told first. Also, I've lost a lot of weight since school, but I'm still only about the same size as Cece. Certainly not much smaller. She's a really pretty person. This has all sent me in a little bit of a loop. I will do what many of you have suggested and reach out to the maid of honour and the other bridesmaid, who is our mutual friend. I will ask if they can get in touch with her and tell them I'm not going. I'll include screenshots of our last several messages and explain the situation as best I can. I live in another state about 2 hours away and don't see most of them anymore. I will offer to give her one of the dresses I bought so she can give it to another bridesmaid and keep the groom and bridal sides even. We'll call the dress her wedding gift. The second one, the one she picked, it has this weird crumpling texture on the side that made me look lopsided anyway, but I'll keep the first one. It is kinda cute. We hadn't spoken in over a decade before this, so it's not hard to cut her off. It kinda sucks to have a tainted friendship that, at least at the time, did something positive in my life. Thank you all again. Come on, your friend was trying to use you to make herself look better for her wedding. She thinks you're ugly, or used to be, and she was using you as a prop. Return the dresses for the money. This is not your problem to solve, and being a bigger doormat isn't going to make this mean girl respect you. Focus on your family and the new mom friends you will be making in the next few years. My friend told a story about rehoming her cat because it wouldn't stop going to the bathroom on her bed. She said she put the cat in its carrier and left it outside the door of her salon before they opened. She said she checked in later and one of the girls had decided to adopt the cat, so the rehoming was a success. I told her that what she did was not rehoming and that she'd actually dumped her cat. I told her that rehoming involved finding an owner and vetting them in advance. She got very angry at me for judging her. I may have overstepped my boundaries by being so blunt about what my friend did with her pet. So, am I the idiot for correcting a friend when she said she rehomed her cat? Yeah, that's not rehoming. That's straight up abandonment and is illegal in most places in the US. You're not the idiot. I judge the heck out of her too, LOL. I don't even like cats that much, which would be a friendship ender. What a lunatic. Exactly, this is borderline sociopath behavior. How do you not get attached to your pet that lived with you? As someone who has had to rehome a pet, you are correct. What she did was dump the cat on the street and hope it would just go away. Proper rehoming involves vetting possible adopters, meeting them before you hand over the pet, and all sorts of other safety checks. What she did was just horrible. Ugh, I hate people like this who try to dress up what they did to make themselves feel better. She abandoned her cat and only got a happy ending by chance. If she was overwhelmed, there were so many better ways to handle it instead of just leaving the poor thing outside. You weren't judging, you were just being real, and if she can't handle it, that's on her. Hope the cat is in a way better home now. My 42 female daughter Brooke, teen, has been reading since she was a kindergartner. She's always loved books and she would spend the allowance we gave her on the newest book in the latest series that she was reading. It's pretty safe to say that her book collection is huge and filled with all kinds of limited edition and special edition books. Recently, she used her allowance to get a new special edition of a book she already had because she'd been saving up for it and was very excited to get it when it came out. Well, my sister Lindsay, 36, came over on Saturday with her daughter Mariah, a young teen, to spend time with us because it's been a while since we got to hang out, and we were just catching up. Mariah started to head to Brooke's room, but I stopped her and told her that Brooke was out and she would be home in 20 minutes. So I suggested that she wait down here with us and tell me about how school was going. She talked for about 10 minutes before she said she had to go to the bathroom. Our house has 2 bathrooms, one upstairs and one downstairs, not including our ensuite. Unfortunately, the downstairs one is having some issues, so I told her it was okay to use the upstairs one until the downstairs one is fixed. She said okay and went upstairs. While I was talking to my sister, Brooke came home, said hi, and quickly went upstairs to change. While I was talking to my sister, Brooke came home, said hi, and quickly went upstairs to change. She wasn't up there for 5 minutes when I heard a loud scream and quickly ran to check on my daughter. When I got to her room, my jaw dropped when I saw several of her books, including the new special edition one, destroyed with ripped pages everywhere, and Brooke was in tears at the destruction. Brooke is very non-controversial and hates arguing or fighting with people, so I stepped in for her. I told Mariah that she needed to apologize to Brooke, clean up the mess she made, and that she would no longer be welcome in my house. I then turned to my sister and told her that she needed to reimburse Brooke for the books that her daughter destroyed. Lindsay argued with me that Mariah was just a kid and didn't know what she was doing, but I told her that Mariah was old enough to know right from wrong and that what she did was wrong. Lindsay argued that if my daughter didn't want her books touched, they shouldn't have been out. I lost my cool and told her they weren't out. They were put away in her room where Mariah wasn't allowed to be without Brooke's permission. Lindsay refused to pay Brooke back and called me a greedy witch before leaving with Mariah right behind her. I told my husband about this and he was absolutely on our side. He agreed that Lindsay needs to pay Brooke back for the books that she lost and can't replace as they were special or limited editions that she can't get back. This whole thing has really blown up and my side of the family is telling me that I'm being too harsh on Mariah, that she's just a kid, but I don't think I am. She destroyed my daughter's property and she needs to know that her actions have consequences. So I'm asking here, am I the idiot for demanding that my sister pay me back? Edit, Mariah has always had a fascination with Brooke's book collection, and last year Brooke let her borrow 2 books because Mariah said she wanted to start reading. Since Brooke loves reading so much, she thought letting Mariah borrow a couple was a good idea. 2 weeks passed and the books came back damaged, nothing like this but definitely not in good condition anymore. so Brooke told her that she was not allowed to borrow her books anymore. Mariah was angry at that and yelled at my daughter, and since then Brooke has kept Mariah away from her books. My husband and I think this is what caused Mariah to do what she did to Brooke's books. How did she not know what she was doing? Tearing out the pages from multiple books? Toddlers know not to do that. She's just a jealous, spoilt little brat, which she obviously gets from her mother, who's the same. Not the idiot. A young teen? Wow, even kindergartners know better than that. Your family can go away. Hold your ground. Mariah is not a little kid who doesn't know that it's wrong to destroy someone else's property. But even if she were a toddler who didn't understand what she was doing, her mother would still be responsible for her and should reimburse any damage her child caused. Just a kid, I was babysitting at tween and responsible for other kids. A young teen is way too old for that kind of behaviour, and having them reimburse the daughter for the books is unfair. If they don't understand the gravity of her actions, they should be made to replace the books from the secondary market at current market value. Then they might start to understand how wrong it is. Girl, you are so not the idiot. Your sister is crazy. My fiancée, 27 female, and I, 27 male, were together for almost 9 years. I proposed to her a couple of years ago and loved her a lot. After my proposal, she started her weight loss journey and asked if we could set the wedding date only after she reached her goal. I supported her through her journey and I was really proud of the progress she made. She lost more than 100 pounds, and while she still looked great before, she looked gorgeous after her journey. She was also upfront with me and admitted she was getting a lot more attention now, and it was the most attention she'd ever gotten in her life. It did make me somewhat insecure. She even said that a really cute guy at the grocery store complimented her tattoo once and asked for her number, even though he could see her engagement ring. However, my fiancée told me she rejected him. One night when he was super intoxicated, she admitted she sometimes had dreams of getting a hot, tall finance guy, but after seeing my reaction to that, my fiancé instantly apologized. A lot of these insecurities were building up in me, and I spoke with my best friend and asked her if this was normal, and she said it wasn't normal at all, and what my fiancé was doing was not okay. Last week I admitted to my fiancé I couldn't do it anymore. My fiancé was shocked, apologized a lot, and started crying. Her reaction surprised me because she admitted wanting a better guy than me. My fiancée told me she was just proud of her progress and that I was the only one she loved and would ever love. She kind of freaked out a lot and asked if my best friend had influenced me, and I told her honestly that yes, I had sought external advice because my insecurities were just eating me up inside. My fiancée did tell me she would never do it again. She was crying a lot and it looked like she was having a panic attack. I was honestly worried about her, so I told her I would think about it. Because I just wanted my fiancé to calm down at that moment because I think what I said just shocked her a lot. However, the next day when she calmed down a bit, I told her my decision was final and that I just lost a lot of love for her. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. When she said she had fantasies about doing better, she was telling the truth. It may not be now, it may be in 10 years, but one day she will give in. Sorry that this happened to you. I know people who have had weight loss surgery while married. They get confident, feel good about themselves and want different things. They start wanting to go out and do things they didn't feel confident doing before. They started living separate lives. They're now married to other people. My cousin had it and left her husband. Before that, I thought she was the least likely of all my cousins to get divorced. He wasn't an unattractive guy, nor was he overweight. Exactly this. They didn't love their former partners. They settled for what they saw as the best they could. That's no basis for a relationship. It's for the best it ends. OP, sounds like she was only with you because she thought she couldn't do better. She's going to find out the tall finance bros have millions of options and they don't settle down, and she will return if she regains the weight, so you better kick her to the curb and not look back. My 28 husband, 30, I'll call him Joe, have been together for 7 years and married for 3. Joe and I are normally very loving and haven't had any trouble in our relationship until yesterday. I've been going off for a month about a haircut at the local hairdresser. I've told him several times, but the entire time he's had his nose in his phone, and this has happened a lot lately. I asked him if I could fit a bob or just shorter hair or even colour. He would just nod or say, "That's your choice," not even looking up from his phone. Fast forward to Friday, I booked an appointment at the hairdresser and told my husband about it. He nodded and said, "Good," with his nose in his phone yet again. This problem hasn't happened before. The appointment was yesterday, Monday. I get ready and go to the appointment after saying bye to Joe, and he says, "Bye, be safe," not asking where I was going, but I figured he knew since I literally told him on Friday. Anyway, I arrived at the hairdresser and cut it a bit shorter with some blonde highlights. I love my new hair and was excited to show it to my husband. When I got home, Joe finally looked up from his phone and got furious when he saw my hair and yelled, "Why did you change your hair? How much did that cost? Why didn't you tell me?" I was at a loss for words and said calmly back, "But I told you on Friday that my hair appointment was today. I even mentioned it a month back, but you've been so obsessed with your phone that you probably don't even notice me anymore." I do regret the last thing I said because he got even more angry, packed a bag and left to his mother's. So, did I overreact? Did I do a wrong thing not to tell him more directly? Not the idiot. Did you overreact? Are you kidding me? What you said was true, and you don't need his permission to change your hair. I'm sorry, but I'm struggling to believe that your relationship is usually loving. Stuff like this doesn't just randomly start happening one day after 7 years. He's likely done something like this before and you just dismissed it. Definitely a red flag. I'm not saying you should divorce him, but I think you need to gain a little perspective here. Also, he's 30, packed a bag and went to mommy for a haircut. You have bigger problems. However, he's a major idiot. I don't even know that idiot is the right word. Obsession with the phone to that extent makes me suspect something like cheating or a gambling problem, which makes him latch on to something like this as a reason to have a fight and make his wife the villain. Here's the thing, OP, forget all that context and we still come down to the fact that it's your hair and you get to change it if you want to. The context just makes his reaction so much worse. Do not let this go. Demand answers. Demand to know why his phone has occupied him more than his actual wife. Demand to know why he feels justified in blowing up on you. His behavior is highly suspicious.